Hi, welcome back to the Vintage Bubblegum Pod. I'm your host, Cal, and on this podcast, we talk about boy bands. We talk about girl groups. We talk about pop music from the late 90s and the early 2000s. It's a genre I've been passionate about for more than half my life, and I'm so excited to share that passion with all of you. Today, we are talking about 98 Degrees and their debut single, Invisible Man. I have two anecdotes about 98 Degrees. First, I know for a fact that I had Invisible Man as a single on cassette because I remember buying it at the Wall in the Berkshire Mall, but I can't find it, and I'm super annoyed by this fact. I don't know what happened to it. It's like $10 on eBay now. I bought it for $1, one whole dollar in 1997. Sometimes life is sad like that, you know? But I do have these. I'm not exactly sure where this case went. That's another mystery of the life passing us by. But this is the single for The Hardest Thing, LOL, and this has Invisible Man on it as a bonus track on track 3. So even a couple years later after Invisible Man came out, they were still trying to tell you about how good this song is. It's not even on the album that The Hardest Thing is on, so they really wanted you to listen to it. And I also have the Because of You single, which I think was what catapulted them to more fame, and also has True to Your Heart on it, which is a certified banger, and it's from the movie Mulan. And it has Stevie Wonder on it. So if you haven't heard this, you need to go listen to it right now because it's a banger. But today, we're not talking about either one of these singles. We're talking about Invisible Man. I also, through writing this episode, had a recollection that many years ago in the early 2000s, and I'm really annoyed I don't have this now as well. I don't know what happens to things in life, but I recall my mom buying me, I think for Christmas one year, and I feel like it was even after 98 Degrees broke up. Like, I feel like this was in like the early 2000s that she bought me this. But it was a 98 Degrees board game. And I'm going to put it right here because I don't remember opening the game ever. I'm obviously talking about it today, mad that I don't have it, but I'm sure that it's gone back into thrifting circulation by now. But I wonder what that game was even about. So I did look it up, and it is selling for $50 on eBay now, which, my bad. I could use $50. But basically, it's a trivia game. And when you win merch that comes in the box. Like, you're supposed to, like, play it with friends, and you all play to win. I guess there were, like, little posters and stuff inside the board game. But if you didn't have any friends, all that merch was yours. So the joke is on the makers of that game and also on me for no longer having the game. So, but enough about my cringe. Today we're talking about, obviously, 90s R&B boy band 98 Degrees and their debut single, Invisible Man. Although back in the day, they would try to argue that the term boy band did not apply to them. But guess what? You're a boy band. You're a boy band. Which I think they've learned to embrace over the years, thankfully. The group in their most famous format would consist of members Jeff Timmons, Justin Jeffrey, and brothers Nick and Drew Lachey, and they all hail from Ohio. Jeff was the founding member who recruited Nick, and Nick recruited Justin, and then they needed one more person to round out their quartet, so Nick called on his brother Drew to join them. The fellows signed with Motown Records with a guy named Paris DeJean, who was co-managing This Is How We Do It hitmaker Montel Jordan at the time. And Montel Jordan is actually credited with writing one of the songs on 98 Degrees' debut record too, which is pretty cool. Synergy, as Jack Donaghy would call it. He was also the one who suggested the group's name. Paris de John was. It's literally 98 degrees is because of the temperature of the body. That's where Paris de John got the name. And honestly, it wins because the first two names were Just Us and Next Issue, and those are flops. And Paris de John knew it. And for some reason, he knew body temperature was where it's at. Because it works. I mean, Nick Lachey got his own tattoo of body temperature on his body. I mean, go ahead. We love to see it. We love it for you, King. And on Wikipedia, it says that 98 Degrees took inspiration from groups like Boyz II Men, clearly, Jodeci, obviously. And then on Wikipedia, it also lists Take 5, my favorite all-time boy band, Take 5. I'm not sure how true that is. There was no citation available, so I could not dig up any interviews where any one of the guys of 98 Degrees specifically named Take 5 as an inspiration. But I'm going to choose to believe this as cold hard fact. They came together around the same time, and if 98 Degrees was touring in Europe and Asia, I mean, it's plausible. So I'm going to take it as cold hard fact because I want to. So even though their emergence on the music scene coincided perfectly with the rise of groups like Backstreet Boys and the Spice Girls, because this was 1997, 98 Degrees would argue that they were less of a boy band and more of a vocal group, citing that they wrote some of their own songs, which other boy bands did as well, and were signed to Motown, which lent them more credibility as R&B singers. But so were Boyz II Men, and I fully consider them to be a boy band too, so y'all a boy band. Sorry. Their self-titled debut record sold over 500,000 copies, which is impressive considering their follow-up single from their debut record did not enjoy the same success as Invisible Man, and their debut album also came out before TRL was a thing. So it's pretty impressive. Prior to 1997, myself personally, I was a big fan of groups like Boyz II Men. One of my very first CDs ever was a Boyz II Men Greatest Hits CD and a Boyz II Men Remix Collection CD, which has a superior version of Broken Hearted with Brandy on it, but I'm digressing. Anyway, and 98 Degrees had a very similar feel to groups like Boyz II Men with their single Invisible Man. It was crooning, the melodies, the harmonies were completely perfected, and they even have that, guy says things in a deep, caring voice in the middle of the song breakdown, which is crucial for this time period of boy band. An easy song to swoon to. I mean, in 1997, I was 11 when this song came out, so got me. You got me. Crooned right into my heart, I'll tell you that. But it's also my opinion that releasing a ballad as your first single is always risky business, which is why I think they didn't really pop off until Because of You. This is not an up-tempo number, but it is more mid-tempo than Invisible Man was, and the video is pretty cool. So they were able to get into that TRL boost with all of the other boy bands, getting their song in the top 10. The group began to tour quite a bit off the back of Invisible Man. They hit the Asian market, and they opened for artists like Queen Janet Jackson during her Velvet Rope tour. The homies in 98 Degrees released 3 records between 1997 and 2002, headlined 2 tours of their own, and were nominated for 5 Grammys. This is all before the year 2000. So that's amazing. Invisible Man itself was recorded in NYC at the Hit Factory, and it was released on June 24th, 1997, and it's from their self-titled debut record. The song entered the charts November 11th, 1997, and spent 2 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 12. The single was certified gold on October 22nd, 1997, and in my opinion, it is really a top-tier boy band ballad. They don't get any more boy bandier than Invisible Man. The music videos are actually pretty interesting. I said videos because there's two of them.
Two of them now.
I know when we covered 5, we talked about the difference in music videos because the songs were different and they were also made for 2 completely different markets. The first version of When the Lights Go Out was released for the UK market with its video that went along with it. And then when they moved over to the TRL crowd in America, they made a new video to appeal to American audiences with a new cut of the single. But for Invisible Man, it is not that case. They're just 2 different videos for the exact same song. A brief Google search does not supply me with a reason for this, but I can only assume that the original black and white one just wasn't as interesting as the color version. I would say the first version is more VH1 and the second version is more MTV. We'll put it that way. In the black and white version, it's just the members singing the song in an abandoned warehouse, looking forlorn as they sing about this unrequited love, wearing matching leather jackets. And occasionally they sing in the rain too, which boy bands love to do. I don't know why they love to do that, but they do. I mean, how else can you tell how very serious they are about their love? It really reminded me of that scene in Parks and Recreation where Tom Haverford goes out in the rain and waits for Ann Perkins to come accept his love. That's what that reminded me of. Anyway, the second video is of the guys in color. This one's in color, and they're in more colorful clothes, but they're still in a warehouse, but this warehouse is more like a party atmosphere. It kind of looks to me like the behind the scenes of a Teen Vogue photo shoot or something. I'm not 100% sure what's going on in the video, or like a weird prom. I'm not 100%, but it's intercut with the guys just watching this female object of affection and singing towards her, interspliced with cuts of them like close up and far away singing the song in increasingly awful outfits. So I luckily the videos for 98 Degrees got better after this. So because of you, the end of that video with them on top of the San Francisco Bridge, crazy. It made my heart race. That's insane. That's way too high up in the air. But I don't really recall seeing either one of these videos on TV, although it's possible that I may have, because I spent a lot of time watching music television in 1997, VH1 and MTV particularly. So it's possible that's where I heard this song, because I cannot for the life of me remember the first time I heard this song. But obviously it was enough that I went to the wall and bought it on cassette. So it obviously did the trick. You know what I mean? Because I don't recall. It was a time before music videos were a high ticket item. That was your key to success, getting them on music televisions. So I don't know. They just really kicked off more after Because of You came out though. But that coincides with TRL happening too. So who's to say? 98 Degrees did disband in 2002, with the members all going on to make names for themselves individually. Obviously, we know of Nick from Newlyweds and the Jessica Simpson wedding and divorce. And then his other marriage, and he hosts TV shows and specials, and hasn't gone anywhere at all. He's stayed pretty constant as a presence in the public eye. Obviously, his brother Drew went on to win Dancing with the Stars and has remained in the public eye. Their other member, Justin, hasn't really remained as public, but he did at one point try to run for mayor of Cincinnati, which I did not know about, and that's very interesting. And other member Jeff actually went on to have a very successful solo career. He also joined the Chippendales in 2011, which I did not know. And it landed him a reality show on E! So good for him. The group reunited in 2012 and still tour to this very day. They released 2 more albums in 2013. And the year of our Lord, 2024, they just came out with a new record. And they released a Christmas album in 2017 to celebrate 20 years as a group. You gotta love that. These dudes are on tour literally right now. So if they're coming to your area, I hope that you check them out, because I'm sure that they're more polished than ever, having been a group now for over 25 years. You gotta love it. It always warms my little boy band loving heart to see some of these groups still out there doing their thing. And 98 Degrees is no exception to that. But they better be doing Invisible Man or I want a refund. So let's do a lyric read, and I don't mean to be this way about this song, but because I love it so much. But reading it now as an adult, a nearly 40-year-old woman, this is an incel anthem. It really is. I'm sorry, y'all. I realize none of the members of 98 Degrees wrote this song, so that's a positive thing. But it really is an incel anthem. I mean, the song is just about a guy being in love with a woman and thinking about how the person that she's actually with, how well he must treat her, and how happy she must be to be with this guy, because he'll pick you up when you're feeling down, he'll hold you close when you're making love, he's everything you're dreaming of. And then they say, I wish you'd look at me that way. But you don't even know I'm alive, because to you, I'm an invisible man. And it's creepy, bro. It really is creepy. Come on. I love this song because the way they sing it is beautiful, and it sounds like a beautiful song until you sit and you read these and you're like, oh girl, run. If you see a man peering at you and watching you and your boyfriend make out at a party, run. Run far away. Run fast. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to do this to you. I'm sorry to burst this bubble of this beautiful song here. But it's got to be said. Don't behave like this, guys. Don't. She doesn't know who you are. Don't stalk her. Don't sit around and think about how he wipes away her tears and how her face lights up when he appears. Don't think about that. Go find someone else who you do that for her. Not this girl's already got somebody. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Okay, I actually really do want to do the boy band, dramatic boy band lyric read for this. So here we go. You can hardly wait to tell all your friends how his kisses taste sweet like wine, and how he always makes your heart skip a beat every time he walks by. And if you're feeling down, he'll pick you up. He'll hold you close when you're making love, and he's everything that you've been dreaming of. I wish you'd look at me that way. Your beautiful eyes looking deep into mine, telling me more than any words could say. But you don't even know I'm alive. Baby, to you, all I am is the invisible man. That one's made for a dramatic read. It's just made for it. And now it's time for Brody's Corner.
Hi, people. So we're doing Invisible Man. And it's a good song. I like it. It's catchy. But The music video is weird, especially at the beginning. When he's talking in this deep-toned voice, Mom will put it up. But when he's talking in this deep-toned voice,
I see you all the time, baby. The way you look at him. I wish it was me, sweetheart. Oh, I wish it was me. But I guess it'll never be.
It hurts me. Like, it's so cringe that it hurts me. Literally. And the girl that he's talking about looks like Britney Spears a little bit. And that's it. Goodbye, people. I love you. Goodbye. They're better than these people.
Shots fired, shots fired. Hey, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Vintage Bubblegum Pod. I hope that you enjoyed this little talk about 98 Degrees. Again, I'm trying not to talk so much about groups that are as popular as 98 Degrees because what hasn't been said about them before, but I don't know if Invisible Man it's clearly not one of their most popular singles, so that's why I wanted to talk about it, and just my memories associated with it are so warm and fuzzy, and it's really fun. But next week I would like to talk to you about Aaron Carter, specifically his song Aaron's Party, Come Get It. This is the album of the same name. Yeah, I mean, this one might get a little heavy just because Aaron is no longer with us on Earth, so I would like to give him credit where credit is due, and just really not going to talk too much about what happened to Aaron, but more I'd like to focus on where Aaron came from, where he started, you know. And then the week after that, I think that I would finally like to get into our Disney Premieres CD. So, and we might do another movie review on the back of that. We'll see. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm having so much fun doing this. And I'm having a lot of fun sharing it with my daughter and bringing her in on these episodes and hearing her opinions on some of these songs and hearing about how cringe we were. Invisible Man is a cringe song. I love it because it's nostalgic, but honestly, it's pretty cringe. So anyway, if you would like to support this podcast, I have a Patreon, I have a Ko-Fi, I have a Redbubble. You can buy stickers, buttons, laptop stickers, pouches, whatever. If there's something that isn't on there that you would like some Vintage Bubblegum Pod merch for, let me know. I'll hook it up. Again, if you sign up for Patreon, you can be in the running for a dramatic boy band lyric read, or if you'd just like to share some cringe stories, I would love to talk about them on here anonymously if you want. I won't even tell anyone who you are, but I would love to be able to share in more of that. I'm trying to build a community around this genre of music because I know there's a lot of you out there. If down the line there's more people, I would be open to opening a Discord. We can have episode discussions. I also have a TikTok and Instagram, so if you want to DM me on either one of those, send me an email, vintagebubblegumpod@gmail.com. Any criticisms, corrections, thoughts, opinions, whatever. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait until next week when we're going to get into some Aaron Carter. So thank you so much. Bye-bye. I wish you look at me that